Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. I'm Will Hubner here with Mark Mashashik. We have a lot to cover today, so let's get started with it.
Yeah, wow, what an exciting show. You'd think with sports shutting down, we wouldn't have much to talk about, but there's a lot going on in sports and a lot going on in the world. Let's just get to it.
I've been asked by many people, are you still having a podcast tonight? There's no sports. And I said, are you kidding me? There's so much to talk about.
So much to talk about, and nothing will stop the podcast.
So as we're talking about it, there's no sports. What a bummer.
I wouldn't say no sports.
Correct. So you made a list here. MMA is the most popular one that's still going on.
Right, and that was conflicted this weekend. Should they be having MMA, and will the UFC be criticized for it if coronavirus is spread?
Are they doing it with fans currently?
I don't know. I didn't watch it this weekend.
Yeah, I know they still had the card. But I mean, that's a sport with a lot of bodily fluid, blood, sweat, lots of different things going on there.
I think the fighters are being tested beforehand. What sport I watched this weekend, professional bull riding, I put it on to put something boring on, but I actually got a little interested. It's very dangerous. That was done in Las Vegas. No fans.
No fans, okay. That sounds a little bit boring for me.
You get it? You put it on. You won't. It's like you can't shut it off. So you got to see the next one.
Bowling's still going on.
I think bowling's.
There's just that meme going on with everybody reacting to the
getting excited
sports fans.
I was watching a couple. I saw a couple bowling matches too, and beautiful PNF patterns, explosive anterior elevation and posterior depression, scapular anterior elevation, pelvic posterior depression that whipped that thing down the alley. I was jumping off the couch getting excited for it.
Yeah. So for you, it's not about the result of the throw. It's more the techniques,
the motion in the ocean.
Yeah. Okay. Esports that could become more popular in the upcoming weeks. Who knows?
I think it'd be interesting to watch NBA players play against each other in NBA games. Watch Luka play against Trey.
They're doing something like that.
I think that's interesting. I've
been reading about players playing like Xbox or something to finish out the season.
Yeah, it's not the season, but
and then WWE, I believe, is still going on. They have a Monday Night Raw. Last I heard, they're still doing that. The big news with them is that there's WrestleMania, which is like the biggest event for all wrestling.
Yeah.
And they're basically being told that if they have it, the government's going to shut it down. So now they're contemplating, do they do it without fans and still just make all the money off the pay-per-view?
Seems like the smart move, right?
Yeah, for sure. But let's talk about, so how depressed were you when you're finding out March Madness is canceled, NFL might be pushed back, spring training pushed back, winter sports in college are all canceled already.
Right. Well, I mean, it's sad to say that it was a sad situation, even though we're dealing with a much bigger epidemic. So I think it's the right call. Let's keep everyone, particularly our most vulnerable and our sick people, as safe as possible. I think the idea right now is not that to stop the virus. I don't think we're stopping it, but the idea is, can we burn it slow enough and slow the spread of it where we don't flood our hospitals so that people, we don't run out of respirators, which I think we only have something like 65,000 in the United States of America. We've got to make sure that our hospitals can take care of everyone that's sick. So it's not just for your health that we're worried about you being healthy out there, but you got to make sure that you think of the most vulnerable people in your life, your grandparents, your uncle who's got diabetes. Think of these people, and those are the people that we really got to be careful with and take care of, and make sure that there are enough beds in hospitals for them. So make sure you're limiting your access to large groups of what is more than 10 people right now.
As of today, more than 10.
Staying up with your hand hygiene. Try not to touch your face.
So all that aside, that's great. I 100% agree with all that.
Yeah.
From a more just personal standpoint, it hit me pretty hard, right? March Madness, this time of the year is probably the most exciting time of the year for me in all sports.
Right.
So I was so bummed once I saw the NBA canceled their season first, and then that immediately led to conference championships for NCAA basketball were canceled the very next day for most of them, and then ultimately the whole March Madness canceled. So I'm sitting there trying to figure out what to do with my weekend. Right? Like, I watch a ton of sports. I'm ready for Selection Sunday. I'm ready for the conference championships. Got my whole weekend kind of mapped out. Nothing to do. There's like nothing on. You're watching bull riding.
I did watch a little bull riding. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what to do. So
I'm getting smarter. I read like 2 books this weekend. Sports dumbs me down.
Saturday, I'm so bored. I'm cooped up in the house. I just need to get out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I go out and I start, I do yard work. You know me. I'm not a very outdoorsy man.
Sure.
I was like picking weeds from the flower beds, raking the yard, just anything to like do something. my wife's telling me, she's like, yeah, I could really get used to this. No sports. You're so much more helpful around the house, all these things. It's great. Then what happened is Sunday started becoming too helpful, to the point where she started asking, when is sports coming back? And I thought it was a funny thing of what like wives and significant others are doing right now in this time period of, do you like this, having your significant other maybe around more because of the lack of sports?
For you, it played out its arc.
For me, it's played out its arc. She wants basketball back. She realizes how much sports now means for her, so that I can just get off her back. Like, she's trying to cook meals for the week, and I'm getting things out. I'm meal prepping, cutting things, and she's like, I got a system. Get out of my way.
Sure.
So if anybody else is having some experiences, you may be finding out more about your relationship and how sports is impacting it. Love to hear from you. You have any effects that's had for you yet, or no?
No, it was a smooth, nice weekend. Not a lot of obligations. Like I said, I read 2 books. It was, I got a lot done. It's nice not having things to do, but I think as far as production in the workforce and everything, not having things to do, I say productive people will always be productive. Like you said, you're a productive person yourself. You found something to do. Unproductive people are not going to be. I think housing prices might go up because of all the painting and molding work that's going to get done, and like you're sitting at home at work, you got nothing to do. You're fixing your house. You're doing something productive. Stay productive, people. If you can't get out, be like Will and build a house, or be like Mark and read a book.
Yeah. Very sore after picking weeds. They really use your...
Don't talk. I grew up on farms. Picking weeds is my least favorite. You could give me anything over picking weeds.
Really?
I used to pick them till my fingers bled.
That was your least favorite job around the house?
Least favorite job, picking weeds. Or picking up rocks was bad too. From Massachusetts, a lot of rocks. Just walking from the rototiller, filling a bucket of rocks and dumping it in the hole. Ugh, terrible.
Where did these rocks come from?
It's Massachusetts. There's just endless supply of rocks in the dirt.
Okay.
It's
screwing up the crops?
The ground is pushing. No, it hits the rototiller that tills the fertile soil and messes up the rototiller. You got to pick them out. It's terrible work.
All right, good to know.
I don't want to get deeper into it.
Well, let's not let that the whole sports world stop us. So we both printed out what could have been a bracket, right?
The New York Post put out their official bracket. It's the most official bracket we could find for the day. The NCAA did not want to put one out. So what we're going to do is, in your madness depression, we're going to run through the New York Post bracket and give you your Final Four and champion right here on Will and Mark's HSO. You're getting the full action.
And these are 100% what would have happened, so no need to question anything.
No basketball will be played, but you'll still get results.
So the way we're going to do it is we're going to alternate picks.
Yep.
And we're going to flip a coin to see who goes first, and we'll ultimately
we're going to start in the East Division, move to the Midwest, South, and then West. We'll read the matchups, and it's going to go down a regular board. So starting at 116, we'll read the matchup and say the winner. To start it, Will, you're going to call the coin flip in the air. You get it correct, you're going first.
Correct.
You get it wrong, I'm going first.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes, I'm going to go heads.
Call it in the air.
Oh, flip it. Heads.
Heads it is.
All right, I will go first.
You're up. We've got Dayton versus Winthrop.
We're going Dayton.
Okay, Dayton. I also had Dayton. Pick 2. I'm going St. Mary's over Oklahoma.
Very good. Pick 3, I'm going to go Butler over Akron in a 5-12 matchup. Butler takes it.
Pick 4, we've got Maryland versus New Mexico State, and I'm gonna stay true to Will here.
Oh, good. I was worried about that.
Yeah, we're gonna go Maryland.
All right. We got a 6 versus 11, Iowa versus Cincinnati. I'm gonna go Iowa.
Good pick. We've got Duke versus Arkansas Little Rock, and I'll stay chalk. Go Duke.
We got Michigan's gonna take down Utah State, 7/10 there.
Strong Villanova over number 15 seed North Dakota State.
All right, so now we're moving into the Midwest. I'm going to take Kansas to beat. It's a play-in game, Siena, NC Central. It doesn't matter. Kansas is going to win.
Okay, we've got USC taking down Florida in the 8-9.
Okay. I've got another 5-12 matchup here. Stuck with the number 5. Auburn's going to take down East Tennessee State.
Beautiful. I think Auburn's a strong team. I hate to see Kansas early here. I got Wisconsin, again, chalk, strong Big Ten team taking down Vermont.
Sure. West Virginia will be taking down, I would say Wichita State would beat Richmond, but it's a playing game. I'm going to go West Virginia.
Okay, still a lot of chalk here. I've got 3-14 Creighton taking down Belmont.
Oh, good thing it landed on you because I had Belmont taking down the Jayhawks.
Okay, well, I got to go Creighton. I'm sticking with my guns here.
I love this. This is my favorite matchup of the whole board. Virginia, Texas Tech, a rematch of last year's championship game.
Ooh, I forgot. I didn't even make the connection. That's a beautiful first game. How exciting to not watch.
And I'm going with the same winners. UVA takes them down.
Okay. Michigan State over UC Irvine. Michigan State wins in a landslide.
All right, so now we're going to the South
bracket, yes.
All right, so we got Baylor versus Charleston University. We're going to go Baylor.
Okay, we've got Zona versus LSU. You know I love Zona. Of course I'm taking Zona. They're one of my sleepers.
Nico Mannion.
I love Nico Mannion.
Yep. Is he one and done?
Yes.
You think so?
Top 10 pick for sure.
Really? Okay.
Maybe 5. Ohio State, Stephen F. Austin.
Stephen F. Austin. So here we go, 5-12. I'm going to take the 12. Stephen F. Austin takes down Ohio State.
Stephen F. Austin with the upset. That's exciting. Louisville versus Yale. Louisville.
Okay.
Another sleeper team for me.
Penn State versus UCLA versus Texas.
UCLA's got that one over Texas for sure.
Think so?
Yeah.
I'm going Penn State.
Okay, Penn State takes down UCLA. Seton Hall Hofstra. Seton Hall's a very strong team this year. We're going to Seton Hall.
Providence versus Rutgers. I love the Big Ten, but I'm going to go Providence.
Whoa,
here.
I already almost wrote Rutgers. You surprised me with that. Florida State, Northern Kentucky. Florida State, strong team in the ACC. Of course, they're going to take down Northern Kentucky.
All right, now we're in the West. I'm glad you can read your handwriting, correct?
This is
rough.
What's rough about it?
I feel like the brackets all merged together. Your handwriting's so large and out of control.
This is manly handwriting.
You can understand it?
We're good, yeah.
All right. What are we in the West now?
We're into the West, 1 versus 16.
Going to take the Zags to beat, was that Robert Morris?
Robert Morris, yeah. Good Northeast Conference team. Robert Morris, one in the NEC probably. I've got Marquette taking down a good team in Colorado. I like both of these teams. That was a difficult decision for me in an 8-9.
I do too. Marquette's the fun team to watch there. Marcus Howard.
Oh my God.
High scoring player.
Yeah, high scoring player. A lot of experience too.
Another 5-12 lands on me. Liberty versus BYU. I'm going with the Liberty. Not sure what their mascot is, but they're going to be BYU.
I think they are the Liberty Statue of Liberties.
Maybe.
And the Virginia team. Okay, I got Oregon taking down North Texas.
Liberty had a run last year.
Was it last year or 2 years ago?
I think it was last year.
Okay, let's keep it going here. Oregon over North Texas in the 6-13.
All right, Indiana versus Houston. There's an upset there. Indiana takes down Houston.
Go Big Ten. Kentucky versus Eastern Washington. I feel like I'm getting some of the easier calls here. Kentucky takes down Eastern Washington.
Illinois versus Arizona State. Keeping with the Big Ten, Illinois wins that one.
You like the Big Ten. San Diego State versus Bradley. Don't think San Diego State's a strong team, but they take down Bradley.
Okay, so now we're into the second round.
Second round, some 5-12 shockers there.
So are we doing another coin flip, or I just go again?
I think it's fun to do a coin flip every time. Let's go.
Okay.
You're coin flipping to start the second round.
Okay. In the air, Mark.
I'll call it in the air. Heads.
That's a bad flip.
Let's do a reflip. Still a bad flip. You've never flipped a coin?
Mark, let's just go.
Let's go. Heads.
Heads it is.
Heads. I'll flip it, and I'll go first on this one.
Okay.
Dayton versus St. Mary's. Got Dayton, the Flyers, with Obi Toppin taking them down.
All right. This worked out well for me. Who do I got? Butler versus Maryland?
Yes.
Maryland, of course.
Okay.
Easy. Probably a 100-point blowout there.
Iowa Duke. I've got the Blue Devils playing strong despite not their strongest year.
Yep. Good. What do we got here?
Michigan Villanova.
You said strong Villanova. I'm taking Michigan to take down Villanova.
You and your Big Ten, man.
Michigan, one of the hottest teams in the country before this virus.
I've got Kansas USC. Kansas takes down USC. Very good team. You've got Auburn, Wisconsin. Man, that Big Ten.
They won the Big Ten. Kidding me?
That Big Ten, man. I've got West Virginia Creighton. I got Creighton. What are they? The Jayhawks? Blue Jays? Creighton. Mid-major team still running.
Good. UVA, Michigan State. This is going to be a really close game.
Ooh, that's a dogfight.
Michigan State, but I really like Virginia.
The Big Ten stays strong for Will. I've got Baylor versus Arizona. You know who I like for my sleeper. I got Arizona taking down the big Baylor Bears.
Baylor's been cold.
They've been sliding, yes.
All right. Stephen F. Austin versus Louisville?
Yep.
I have Stephen F. Austin.
You're killing me. I had Louisville going very far. This will make things interesting. Penn State versus Seton Hall. I've got Penn State winning that game.
Oh, I had Seton Hall going far. I had Seton Hall going to the championship.
I had Louisville going to the championship. We just took out 2 championship teams in our own brackets.
All right, where are we at now?
Providence, Florida State.
Florida State.
Florida State winning that game. I've got Gonzaga versus Marquette. Boom! All about the upsets. Marquette taking down the Big Zags.
All right.
Okay, you've got Liberty, Oregon.
I got Liberty. Another 12 going far.
We upset city people. Get excited. Indiana, Kentucky for me. Kentucky takes down Indiana.
Good call.
And you've got Illinois versus San Diego State.
Big ups. Nope. San Diego State for this one.
Okay.
All right. Now we're in the Sweet 16, no?
The winners of this go to the Sweet 16, right? No, we're already in it. That is that is your Sweet 16, people.
All right, great.
All right, going on to the Elite Eight. I'll flip. Will you call in the air again?
Okay. Let's go heads. I need this. Maryland's in this game.
Oh, you got tails.
Good. I said tails, right?
You said heads.
No, I said tails.
You said heads. Good. We've got it recorded.
We'll have to run it back.
Spencer's joined. Did he say heads or tails, Spencer?
A lot of controversy here.
Nope, we got a bit of a system overload here. Give it a second. We still running?
Still running. We got a little bit of a delay.
Pull that one up if we got a delay. It's running now, though, right?
It is now.
Okay,
we're lost a little bit of time, but that's okay.
Okay, so
we'll go to you.
We're into the Sweet 16. It's on first, and I got the Dayton Flyers going on the Elite Eight.
A lot of controversy in this bracket now.
Taking down Maryland.
Okay, what do I got here?
You got Duke, Michigan.
I got Michigan winning that one.
Michigan going to the Elite Eight. Okay.
Spencer comments he wasn't listening.
Kansas, Wisconsin. I got Kansas taking down Wisconsin. You got Creighton, Michigan State. Who gets into the Elite Eight?
Michigan State.
Okay, Zona versus SF Austin. I'm going to have Zona moving on to the Elite Eight.
Okay, what am I at here?
Penn State versus Florida State. Sweet 16 matchup.
Penn State versus Florida State. I didn't have either. I'm going to go Florida State.
Florida State taking down Penn State. I've got Marquette Liberty, and I'm going to have Marquette going on in the Elite Eight. You think it's that? This is exciting. This is what madness is about. Your last pick will be Kentucky versus San Diego State.
Who gets Kentucky.
Kentucky getting into the Elite Eight. We're going Final Four. Will's going to do his terrible flip again.
Ready? Let's see if we can get a good flip here.
Sure.
You ready?
Yep. Go for it. I go heads. Flip. Let's
heads.
I'll take it.
All right.
We've got Dayton versus the Michigan Wolverines. I had Duke winning this one, but you took Michigan over them, so we're going to go Dayton to the Final Four for the first time ever.
Your A10 is killing me.
I didn't even plan it.
But I've been getting Michigan State the whole way, too.
You got Kansas, Michigan State.
Yep, I got Michigan State.
You got Michigan State beating Kansas?
I had Wisconsin beating Kansas.
Kansas was my champion, so they're done. I've got Arizona versus FSU for the Final Four. I've got to check this one. Man, Arizona is my big sleeper. I got Arizona.
They're your number 8.
Making to Final Four.
This is good. I get to knock out your Marquette pick here finally. Kentucky's going to win that one.
I had Kentucky winning that one as well. So we've got our Final Four. The Dayton Flyers, 1 seed. Michigan State, a 2 seed. Arizona Wildcats, an 8 seed. And the Kentucky Wildcats, I believe, they're a 3 seed.
Yep.
All right. Back to you to flip again.
Is it?
What?
We lost the one. No, here it is. I'm flipping again?
My turn to flip?
Yours, yes.
Okay, you're calling it in the air.
Calling it in the air. Oh, jeez. We lost the quarter. That went pretty far. I'm going to go heads.
Okay, no flip.
Heads.
It is tails.
I won that one. All right. Do you want to pick or defer?
I will pick, and that's going to put – I did not project my A10 team. I had them losing way back to Duke, but with them against Michigan State, I'm projecting the Dayton Flyers. Obi Toppin taking them to the championship.
This is tough to listen to. All right.
You've got Arizona versus the Kentucky Wildcats.
We're going Kentucky.
Kentucky, Dayton.
And then final coin flip?
Yep. You got the last coin flip, and the winner of this one gets to choose the champion. Heads.
Tails.
Who you got?
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Win it all.
Win it all. And remember, like, first week of the season, first or second week, Kentucky lost that big upset to – I don't even remember who it was. We made a little podcast thing on it, talking about how it's not a big deal. Kentucky's still in it. Don't worry about them. They'll be fine. And here they are winning the NCAA championship.
I was a little excited during that. I think it's just fun to see how it plays out.
Yeah,
Final four: Dayton, Michigan State, Arizona, Kentucky, with Kentucky taking the whole thing down.
Comment if you have any issues with our picks,
Yeah,
particularly Mark's.
Or fill out your own brackets and tell us what you think would have happened.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So the NBA right now, they're unsure if they're really going to finish their season or not. There's a lot of question marks in the air.
It sounds like they're saying they're not going to finish the season. At the most, we're going to get some playoff games.
So Spencer Dinwiddie, guard from I think he's in the Brooklyn Nets.
He is on the Brooklyn Nets.
He came up with this March Madness-like NBA playoff system that he thinks will be awesome. So the way it works is that they would do 5-game tune-ups. They'd have 5 games to finish out the regular season, and then they would go straight to a March Madness best-of-7 winner take all. So the way it works, the top 4 seeds, which are currently the Bucks, Lakers, Raptors, and Clippers, would all receive a first-round bye.
Okay.
The bottom 4 seeds, the Hawks, Cavaliers, Timberwolves, and Warriors, would play 2 best-of-3 series with the winners advancing to the first round.
Okay.
The 24 teams in that first round would play a best-of-5 series, and then the typical playoffs would resume from there once into 16 teams remaining.
What do you think? You like it or no?
I like that we're playing basketball. I like that every team's now in it. You could just do it straight up, like you were saying, a March Madness for the NBA.
Why not? We missed madness. And we're not getting the NBA. We know we have to shorten the NBA season. Let's just quarantine what we got left and let them play out a 30-team tournament.
I think if we know this NBA season is going to have an asterisk next to us no matter what, it's not a normal NBA season. A lot of things are off. Why not make it fun? Make it exciting for the fans. So, I don't like a one-game playoff in the NBA. Like a team like the Clippers could lose to a team like
who's in first right now? The Bucks and the Lakers?
Bucks, Lakers, Raptors, and Bucks and Lakers.
So I would say you give the Bucks a bye, you give the Lakers a bye, and everyone else is in a 28-team playoff.
Do you do it by East and West, and or do you just jumble them all up?
I'm fine jumbling them all up. Nobody really. Or do you want to limit the amount of travel people are doing? So maybe you do it location-wise. I don't know. I think it's a good idea. I don't think we'll see it soon. I think they definitely want to be done. They want to be done before the NFL season starts. So I think a quick tournament would be fantastic.
Yeah, I say we do something. I'm tired of watching bull riding.
Let's get everyone safe, but I'm in no crowd, little tournament in the summertime. If the heat is burning any of this off, which we don't know if it will, it's a fun idea.
Kind of on those lines, you hear about Trevor Bauer, pitcher for the Indians. I'm not sure where he is now.
Yeah,
but he was basically saying, "Hey, let's do a sandlot game," and he tweeted out to any MLB or minor league players, said, "Hey, let's all just meet up at a field, play a game."
Sure.
And people are all for it. I think it's going down.
But no viewers.
Yeah, right.
Big
Probably
great
not.
Cameras. But
maybe a Facebook Live,
Sure. No, it's a fun idea.
All right. Should we talk NFL?
Yeah, we get the collective bargaining agreement come out. What did you think?
So the big changes, we're going from 16 games to 17 games.
That won't take place until 2021.
Okay. We're now...
Stop on that one. What do you think? Good idea, bad idea?
I think it's bad for the players, good for fans.
Good for owners and money.
Right.
Weird for fantasy, though. I just feel like injuries kill fantasy in general, and just I don't know. Of course, I want to see more football, but I just don't want to see these guys break down. I don't want to see every backfield now has to have a committee in order to make it, so you can't predict who your bell cow is going to be, and they're interchanging receivers in and out.
As a fantasy commissioner, fantasy football commissioner, do you now change the amount of game? You add one more game onto your season?
Oh, for sure, you have to. Correct. But we'll see how that plays out. I haven't put thought into that yet. How does this affect teams holding players out? If you've wrapped up the first round bye, could you be holding out for multiple weeks? I don't think that will happen, but there are fantasy implications for sure.
Other big change, we're now going to 14 playoff teams.
Yeah.
Like it?
Again, it just puts an extra game in there. I don't think that's a terrible thing. I like it. I think that's a better thing than the 17 games.
That's more exciting.
So basically, the 2 seed is going to lose its bye, and they're going to throw a third wild card team in there. So only the 1 seeds will get the bye.
So how does that work? So the 2 seed would typically be playing the 7 seed.
The 2 seed would typically would have a bye and be playing the winner of the second lowest seed to come through. Instead of that, they'll be playing the 7 seed.
But so who does the 8 seed play? Because they should be playing the 1 seed, but the 1 seed has a bye.
Oh crap!
No, there's only 7 teams.
Yeah, it's 14.
That makes sense.
Yep. So they play the weakest of the.
So are they then going to have to rearrange teams? 2 plays the 7, knocks them off. If the 7 beats the 2, does the 1 now play the 7? Or they,
right. So they've always done it just as the next round moves forward, the highest seed plays the lowest seed.
Okay.
So if the 7 wins, they'll be playing the 1 seed.
Yeah. Which we found out with the Ravens and the Titans, you might not want to be playing the lower seeded teams always, or the higher seeded teams.
That's unusual. I mean, historically, the NFL higher seed teams do much better. Strong end of the year for both those teams.
And then the league minimum for a lot of the players to make the league minimum went up 20%. So that's always good.
I think that has to do with injury, health, and concussion. Like if you're in the league for 3 years and you want to have a little nest egg. All for bringing the league minimum up. I mean, the maximum, you can argue how much money is this worth, but the minimum, sure, bring it up.
So this is good for the next 11 years, essentially.
Something like that. That sounds right.
All right. So they don't revisit issues? It's just like this is the contract for the next 11 years?
If there's a major issue, there could be a holdout to make it change. But I think the contract's good for a certain period of time.
Okay. Let's go. Major trades happening today.
Big trades.
Or this week, actually.
So today is the official tampering is allowed, which brings up a lot of trades as we get close to free agency. And free agency starts on Wednesday, 4 p.m., I think. It's getting exciting.
So the big news today, DeAndre Hopkins is going to Arizona.
Correct. So Hopkins to Arizona?
Yep, Hopkins to Arizona in return for David Johnson. David Johnson and a second and fourth round pick, and then Arizona gets Hopkins and a 4th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Just immediately off the picture right in front of your face, this seems like a very one-sided trade.
It's an extremely one-sided trade. I don't understand it whatsoever. DeAndre Hopkins is probably the best receiver in the NFL in his prime. David Johnson is a running back that's over the hill. I mean, he has been hurt for the past 3 years. He was great under Bruce Arians. We don't know if he can perform in a Bill O'Brien system, and he's just been banged up. He gets paid more than DeAndre Hopkins, and he's the same age at a position that runs out earlier. I don't know what they're thinking here. I would have assumed they got a 1st-round pick with it, and they didn't.
Yeah, it just seems so lopsided. I mean, we were looking at trade grades.
Yeah.
Arizona gets an A+.
Oh, yeah.
What does Houston get?
They're now calling it the Billy O'Brien grade. He just makes the worst deals in the NFL, and there's no real reason for it. We used to call it the Matt Millen grade, who used to make the worst deals in the NFL for the Detroit Lions. But now it seems the O'Brien, who's a coach I've always liked, and this is really the backbreaker for me. He's made some deals that I didn't have a big problem with. I thought he was trying to win now, but to give up the second best player on your team for a running back who's been hurt consistently and didn't perform well when he played this year, you could say it's injury-based, but injuries is part of the problem. I don't understand it whatsoever.
Look at Houston. You're always looking at DeAndre Hopkins is the one constant that they have on that team, especially when we talk receivers. They're always banged up, right? Dude. Will Fuller's going to play like 6 games a year maybe. Kiki Kuti was like one of their other best receivers. He's always hurt. Kenny Stills.
It's a good player, but it's not DeAndre. DeAndre Hopkins was good with Tom Savage. He's good with everyone. I see massive upgrade for Arizona with this move. That was amazing. Arizona's biggest problem on their entire team is the fact that David Johnson's contract was hamstringing them. They got rid of the player that they desired least on their entire team, which is a running back that they knew wasn't performing, did not fit Kingsbury's system, and they got one of the best players in the NFL for him. It's win, 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 Arizona.
And they also got Kenyon Drake last year from the Dolphins, right?
Yeah.
Who had like the monster.
Yeah, everyone performs well in the system lately except for David Johnson.
So now they
Chase Edmonds performed well too. It's just they wanted to get rid of that major contract.
They transition tag Drake. So anybody who puts an offer on Drake, Arizona now has the option to match it.
Right. He's restricted free agent.
So that's huge. Does this make Arizona contender or
I don't-
just a better team?
I think it makes them an extremely exciting fantasy team for everyone on the offense.
But how about an actual NFL team?
I don't think they're a contender. I think
Playoff team?
I think that's a win. If they're 9-7 in the playoffs, I think that's a big win for them. And a very unproven team with a young quarterback. Man,
Does this make Kyler Murray more of a lock to become this could push him to be a starter for the rest of his career type thing?
He's going to be drafted. What do we got? We got Lamar, Mahomes. Getting DeAndre Hopkins I think this may flip him.
Or does Deshaun now have to run more?
I think Kyler Murray, this is jumping ahead, just a quick reaction. I think Kyler Murray will be the number 3 quarterback drafted in fantasy leagues. And I think that's a scary place to draft him, to be honest, with this not known. But can you say you feel strong? I don't feel stronger about Deshaun over Kyler Murray, knowing that Kyler Murray took his best player from him. Yeah, we'll see what happens in the draft. I'm sure this means Houston's going to draft someone, or maybe Stephon Diggs ends up in Houston. Stephon Diggs is still supposed to move.
It's funny that guys like Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, free agents still, but those guys who are classically the top picks aren't there anymore.
It's all about because rushing is so important in fantasy. Just it's so much more valuable to have a guy who can run. And seeing Lamar who runs and can pass, now we give Kyler Murray had a fantastic rookie year for a fantasy player. You expect the year 2 jump. They're going to throw the ball 50, 60 times a game still, and now he's got the best receiver in the NFL.
Who's your number 1 quarterback off the board next year?
Lamar.
Really? Over Mahomes?
For me, there'll be 1A and 1B, which means I'll probably get Mahomes a lot because I just don't like betting on the top quarterback repeating because he never does. Like Mahomes didn't repeat his perfect season. I think Lamar was clearly – he broke fantasy this year. Yeah, he'll be the number 1. I think my prediction for Lamar is another great season. I bet he'll get banged up for a game or 2. We'll lose a couple fantasy weeks, but he'll be okay. Maybe a rib or something.
All right. Let's go to other trades. DeForest Buckner goes to the Colts for a first-round pick.
I think that's a good move for San Francisco. DeForest Buckner is a very good defensive tackle, Pro Bowler. But what they're going to do with that pick is I think they're just going to draft his replacement. The Colts have been pegged to draft Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina. He's not as long as Buckner, but he's nasty and is physical. I think they just peg him in and they get a rookie contract for 4 years instead of giving Buckner the big deal. I think they gave Arik Armstead $85 million, knew they couldn't sign them both. So they said, okay, we'll move this guy. We'll take the first-round pick, mid-first round, and we'll get someone who's a similar player, and we get him on the rookie deal. Good move, San Francisco. I would say bad move, Colts, in that you could have gotten a similar player and got him on the rookie deal. You're going to have to pay Buckner now, but you're getting a great player, so I can't complain too much. A-plus grade for San Francisco, B grade for Indianapolis.
You expect the 49ers to be back next year?
Depends who their quarterback is.
Is Jimmy G a free agent?
He is not, but the rumor is that Brady's manager is in extreme contact with San Francisco right now on a team that he would perform well on and a place, San Mateo, that's his home. And does that mean a trade for Jimmy G back to his home?
That just hurts to hear that.
Back to the New England.
Jimmy G is better than Tommy Brady right now.
No, he's not.
Yes.
No. Ask Kyle Shanahan.
You're crazy.
So right now, Brady's management has met with San Francisco. Tennessee said they did meet, but they're gonna go with Tannehill. Tampa Bay is the most interested team. Apparently, they're going to offer him whatever he wants. Las Vegas, Jacksonville, Miami. Brady just bought a house in Florida. Indiana, Los Angeles Chargers. I told your teams to be interested. They're interested.
See, I also read a report today, just a few hours ago,
sure,
that there's only 2 teams interested, Patriots and Tampa Bay. It doesn't make sense for the worst team in the NFL to take Tom Brady on a 2-year deal.
Who's the worst team in the NFL?
They're saying Tampa Bay. One of the worst teams in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, but they're a quarterback away.
No, Mark.
You put Tom Brady with Bruce Arians. You don't think they can make a run?
I don't think Tom Brady has the weapons that Bruce Arians needs.
Bruce Arians, the weapons would be Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and O.J. Howard.
I think Tom Brady would be limiting Arians' firepower. He'd say, give me Winston. We'll get him. He's got LASIK this year. He's going to be okay.
Winston's gone. They had to tag him.
So he's a free agent.
He will and unless they tag him in the next 24 hours or 35 hours, whatever's left, he'll become a free agent on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think he goes to the Chargers.
To me, I still think Brady ends up the Patriots. It doesn't make any sense for him to leave the Patriots. You've been there your whole career. You're 41 years old.
He wants $30 million a year, and the Patriots already said no.
He needs it. He's got Giselle. He's got a ton of money. Why? The money, I don't feel like it's an issue for him because he's always taking pay cuts to get better linemen, better weapons on his team.
I think he's saying he's done with that. I don't know. As a Patriots fan, I love Tom. I want him to play forever. But I think there's excitement to seeing things shake up too.
Yeah, we'll see. I still think maybe we were at a poll. Would you rather have Jimmy G or Tom Brady? See what people have to say about that.
For 1 year, it's a Super Bowl. You got
2 years.
You got a Super Bowl team, and Jimmy G couldn't put you over the hump. Do you think Tom Brady in his hometown of San Francisco can get you over the hump? Jimmy G or Tom? We'll make a poll. I'm taking Tom. In that freaking drop-off Kyle Shanahan offense where you're just dinking and dunking to Mustard Town and Tevin Coleman.
Maybe I'm saying he would do well anywhere he went, but it's going to limit people's abilities. I think Jimmy G is an overall better quarterback right now than Tom Brady.
He's not a coach on the field though. He can throw a deep ball better probably. Jimmy G did not have a great year, man. He was pedestrian.
Still is a great quarterback.
I would rather have Tom Brady. We'll put up a poll. Don't skip top free agents.
Well, what's up with you said Tannehill gets signed. Big contract by the Tennessee Titans.
Not big for a quarterback, but big enough seeing that they thought he looked good for 8 games.
Yeah, seemed like, and he did have a great 8 games. He's like top quarterback passer rating.
Yeah.
But he's not your guy, right?
I think he is. I think he's their guy.
He's their guy?
They took him to the playoffs after Marcus Mariota drove him into the ground.
I don't know. I just don't see you building a franchise on this guy, Ryan Tannehill. I love Ryan Tannehill. I think he's a great player. I think great fantasy quarterback under the radar, kind of a great pickup that you're going to have. But come on, that's Derrick Henry's team. Just hand the ball off.
Well, they franchise Derrick Henry as well. It's important to have a guy who can manage I'm not even going to call him a game manager, but it's important to have a guy that can manage the game. He's young enough. He was hurt in Miami. I don't think he got the right shot. I think he wins you games if he stays healthy. You get him a couple more weapons. He didn't, they got the young things around him. Let it develop. Don't start over again.
See, Tom Brady would do better in Tennessee than San Francisco.
But Tannehill was like 2 games away from the Super Bowl and only 8 games in that system. I think you're crazy to not sign him and try to start over with someone else.
I don't know. What was the deal? They gave him a long-term one, right?
I don't know what the deal was.
Yeah. All right.
What's on here?
Other big moves. Ravens get Calais Campbell. It's big talk of the NFL world.
Yep.
Huge. Man, that bolsters the defense for the Ravens. And the
monster player, but a little bit long in the tooth. He'll be 33 before the start of the season.
Oh, he's a beast.
He still should have another good year or 2 in him.
And then probably the biggest news of all the NFL is Hayden Hurst gets traded.
Yeah, that's not big news, but I think he'll perform well. He's going to step into Austin Hooper's role in Atlanta.
Oh, he's going to be a top 10 tight end next year.
I'm not going to argue with that. I think Hayden Hurst was underutilized just because Mark Andrews was so good in the passing game.
I agree.
I think he stepped in. I think that's a good fantasy pickup if he can stay healthy with the hips and stuff.
You heard it here first. Hayden Hurst, better fantasy year next year than Mark Andrews.
No way, but similar to Austin Hooper's.
Hooper had a big year.
He did. Yeah, no, I think that system
Hooper not there anymore?
Hooper will very likely become a free agent as well on Wednesday.
Okay. So now the Ravens only have 3 tight ends, which is great.
They'll probably draft 2.
All right. Any other top NFL free agents here? What do you got?
Top free agents, we've got Brady and Breeze, obviously. Chris Jones got franchised. Clowney will come out on Wednesday. I like
talks about him going to the Ravens too.
I like both New York teams to pursue him. I think he goes to the Giants, and I think the Jets go after him. Anthony Harris, safety for the Vikings, got franchised. Shaq Barrett was franchised by the Bucs, sack leader. Simmons franchised by the Broncos. Byron Jones signed with the Dolphins, 5 years. Jimmy Ward, safety for the 49ers, should come out. DJ Reader has been a monster defensive tackle. A 350-pounder that can actually pass rush. He'll be a big guy that's gone after. Amari Cooper has not signed a deal yet. That could be an exciting receiver. Where could we see
as
him?
well, right?
Dak was franchised.
He was.
So I think Amari Cooper still gets a deal done before Wednesday, but maybe not. Corey Littleton, linebacker, big name. Chris Harris, long in the tooth cornerback. We should see him get a good 2-year contract. Beluga, the tackle. Dante Fowler, pass rusher from LA. Also talks that Brandon Cooks is on the market to be with his fourth team in 4 years. So I don't know what's wrong there. Going back to I don't know what's wrong there. I think O'Brien Hopkins trade, because it's just so quizzical. He must have just Bill O'Brien's just this guy who can't deal with people he doesn't like. He must have said something to O'Brien or something. It's got to be personal. I don't know. It's just such a bad trade.
I'm surprised the ownership went with O'Brien over Hopkins.
The ownership gave O'Brien full everything. He's the judge, jury, and executioner for that team. GM,
like
coach.
Gruden.
Correct.
Vegas.
Well, Gruden still has a GM. Gruden has Mike Mayock as his GM. O'Brien had his GM, said, if you don't fire the GM, you lose me, and they fired the GM. Let's see. I hope they get Stephon Diggs. But now
a lot of talks about the Ravens getting Stephon Diggs. Maybe because I only look at Ravens sources.
Probably. He'd like to come home. He's a Baltimore guy, right?
Yes.
I don't know if he wants. That's still a pass first. It's still a run first offense, Baltimore, even though Lamar's great. So I don't know if that's a great fit for what Diggs wants to do.
Got a comment here from Adam, says O'Brien might be a worse general manager than Mike Brown.
That's not true. Mike Brown, at least Bill O'Brien, seems to want to win, even though he's an idiot. Mike Brown seems to want to do everything to blow up the Cincinnati Bengals. So let's talk about that for a second, because Tua's medicals have come out as beautiful. How does
we know of
that? They've really sounded good. And he wants to work out his pro day. It seems like coronavirus is going to stop his pro day.
Correct.
That hurts his stock. Do the Bengals look at, hey, Tua was a better prospect than Burrow to start with? Could we see a flip? You think we could see Cincy go after Tua?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think a healthy Tua is better than a healthy Burrow.
Or
sure.
Could we also see Miami saying, whoa, Cincinnati's not locked on Burrow. We love Burrow. We want to go up and get him. Or the Chargers, we want to go up and get him.
I mean, the biggest risk, we haven't seen Tua on the field post-surgery. We don't really know what he looks like. We don't know, did he lose any speed? We don't know, does he have good push-off? How has this game changed?
So you think
that's
if
the question
he doesn't have a pro day, which he was going to do, we don't know what, but he was going to get out there, move, and throw the ball a little bit.
He's got to do something. Put on a show.
What do they just do, a Facebook Live, just him out there then for the coaches?
Otherwise you're going Burrow first. Yeah, I think his only chance is to get on the field and show them that he can still throw the ball, that he can still move, lateral cuts, things like that.
Do you think Tua's ceiling is higher than Burrow's?
Yes, way higher.
I don't think it's way higher.
I'm not high on Burrow.
I am.
We had this conversation a couple podcasts ago. Burrow to me is not – he had an amazing year. I don't think he's the stud that I'm going to
amazing year.
Put my money on.
Maybe the best year in the history of college football.
He did.
He checks
on a monster team.
He checks every single box except arm strength, which we've seen a lot of quarterbacks be successful in the NFL when they didn't check that box.
Yeah.
Drew Brees didn't check that box. Tom Brady didn't check that box. Top 2 free agents in the market right now, playing football in the age 40.
It's funny because I think Burrow, like if you compare him to what a quarterback is going to be, in my mind, Andy Dalton keeps popping up. I think he's going to end up with an Andy Dalton type career, which is not bad by any means.
Don't say that to Bengals fans.
Right, exactly. You're getting the Andy Dalton that you always wanted.
I would disagree. I think he's got more of a competitive edge than Andy Dalton. I think he's.
If you're a Cincinnati owner, you got the first pick or the GM.
That's Mike Brown.
Are you going to take a quarterback or trade down, get more draft picks for the future, and then go after top quarterback next year?
If I could trade to 5 and be guaranteed that I could get Tua, and I got another first rounder for it, maybe even a third, I would do it. But if I'm sticking at 1, if I don't know I'm going to get another quarterback, I'm probably just taking Burrow, pick 1. Checks every box, man. He's a true leader.
Dude, definitely taking Chase Young.
Ask any of Burrow's – we don't know that. Ask any of Burrow's teammates. He is a gamer. He goes in there and he grinds.
Did you ask anybody that?
Not true. This is above and beyond.
Yeah, I don't know. He was passed up. Passed up Ohio State for 2 years.
So was Tom Brady.
Yeah. So but Tom Brady also not a first pick overall. We're looking for the studs, man.
He was a stud this year.
Who?
Burrow.
Yeah, 1 year. 1 year being a stud is not a number 1 overall pick for me.
Russell Wilson was passed up. Had a transfer.
Baseball player.
One of the best players in the NFL now.
You think he's worth a number 1 pick?
Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Hell yes. It's unbelievable.
He's good. But he's also smaller. Like, you're taking Burrow number 1 because he fits the mold. Russell Wilson, undersized. We didn't know that they could do that back then. Like,
he was the first one.
Right, exactly.
That's why they're comfortable.
That's why Kyler Murray. Exactly, yeah. But for someone like
Tua's not a huge guy. Tua's 6 foot.
I'd be much more comfortable taking Tua over Burrow. But again, I don't think this is the year for quarterbacks. I think we're going to look back 5 years from now and say, not a great quarterback class this year.
I think Tua's ceiling is so slightly higher than Burrow's, and his floor is so much more.
Floor is lower for sure, only because of injuries. We don't know what he can do.
Yes, because of injuries, and we don't know if they'll continue. And I'm not just saying the hip; we've got other things beyond that.
Right, it all started with the ankles.
But we all know Alabama is known for guys who come in the NFL that are hurt. We got a plethora of them. Terrell Lewis, a bunch of guys coming into the league this year where it happens.
Yep, they don't last long in the.
Can the Bengals get a round 2 pick for Dalton? To the Bears?
I don't think so.
Me either.
What do you think? 3rd? Maybe 4th. I don't think many teams really want Dalton.
Because they've seen what he can do.
Right. Well, you know exactly his ceiling.
I think you're drafting a quarterback right now. You're drafting a Justin Herbert, or you're drafting a Jordan Love. Let's say the Chargers. Well, the Chargers got Tyrod Taylor already. See, a lot of teams that are going to take a quarterback, they've got someone in place to mentor them. Let's say the Colts want to take Jordan Love. They move Brissett and say we want to bring in Dalton to mentor him. I think Dalton is a guy who can come in and start, and mentor a young, good quarterback. Like a Jordan Love is a great – his ceiling is his body actually looks like Patrick Mahomes. He looks like him. He makes throws like him, but he makes bad decisions. He's got to sit behind someone. Jordan Love, Utah State, quarterback, potential first-rounder. I think if you're looking for a guy to come in and spot start, you're looking for Andy Dalton's being compared to a younger Ryan Fitzmagic, Tyrod Taylor, so I don't think you can get a 2 for him right now. Yeah, I think you put him in the right system, he can win.
Yeah,
does he show up in New England and just step in and ball? It's possible, but I think a 2nd is not going to. I don't think it's too greedy, but I think.
I think cut your losses with Dalton.
I think a 3rd is fine.
You know they do have Joe Mixon, great player.
I don't want to give up a 3rd for him, but I think a team could.
What happens with AJ Green this year?
I think he comes back. I think he's a Bengal until he's done.
Do you think, regardless of the draft, this Bengals team not going to be good next year? That's the way I feel. They can give them anybody they want. Give them the first 2 picks. They're going to be bad next year.
I think if you get Joe Burrow in there and he clicks with Zach Taylor and they get some of that LA magic, I think you can see. Something special start to blossom. I think you can see a similar season to Kyler Murray had in Arizona. I think that's possible.
Looks like we got comments here. They're talking Bengals asking for a 2nd rounder. No, they'll never get it. Dalton is like the catcher in the movie Major League. Never good enough, but could be a great mentor. That's Jake, right? His name was Jake in the movie Major League?
Yeah, he was the guy from the movie Sniper with the bad knees.
Yeah, right.
I agree. That's similar.
He made it to the show at the end, right?
In Major League?
Or he was in – oh, yeah, I got you. He was in the show.
Yeah, he made it, but he was on his last knee. Yeah. Okay, more Bengals information to come. Does that cover? Oh, are we going to talk teletherapy tonight?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit teletherapy. Just in general, with a lot of physical therapy, especially private practices, are shutting down, and the not wanting to
due to the coronavirus
spread any risk of people transmitting the disease. So teletherapy. Do you think this is something where physical therapists can really continue to help patients during this time of the coronavirus?
I think as a bridge to anxiety for patients and patient progression with what they're doing and patient safety, communicating with the patients in any way we can is, of course, valuable. I think teletherapy could be effective in doing that. My fear is if we do this and it goes on for a period of months that we have to protect our patients, I do think it is a far inferior substitute to what we do every day in physical therapy. And my fear is, will insurance companies see this and look at it as a way to capitalize and say, well, maybe this is a way we should be managing a lot of patients, and let's get a lot more people in this teletherapy idea once we're done with limiting patient access with the coronavirus. So I have a fear that insurance companies and other systems that are look at physical therapy from a monetary base will see it and capitalize it on as a way to progress physical therapy in the future. So I want to preface it and say, I think it's a good Band-Aid because communication is important, particularly for just, you get someone, an older person who had a knee replacement and it's not going so well in the past couple of weeks. And they say, I don't really want to come in, but I'm anxious about this. To sit there and talk to them and, just go through some of their basic exercises with them. I think it would go a long way of helping them feel comfortable with their knee and what they're allowed to do. So I think that would be valuable, but I really want to preface it that this is a Band-Aid. It's not, I don't even want to call it real physical therapy. I don't know, how do you feel about just my comments on that and how you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, communication is good in probably any medical field, right? I think with our job, it's going to be a lot tougher in terms of assessment. I think what people forget to realize is how much we're assessing with our hands and kind of seeing how the joints move, kind of which soft tissues and muscles are at play, where the restrictions are. And I think you can't do that through teletherapy, so that makes it challenging in knowing even what exercises to do and how to progress exercises. I think if it's like a standard post-op patient, like you're saying, somebody with a total knee replacement, sure, you can work on, here's some basic exercises, here's quad sets, here's straight leg raise, here's some bridges, here's some basic things, and you can kind of progress from there, but I think you're going to miss a huge part of it. I mean, of course.
So I think to wrap that up, communication is valuable, but we don't even know if we want to call that necessarily physical therapy because we're not there with the patient and we don't want
how much different is that your value in terms compared to an athletic trainer compared to other people?
Or just the surgeon saying, hey, do this after it. I really think the benefit is to calm the anxiety of the patient, go through their questions with them, but let's not even fully call that physical therapy. Let's call that maybe just exercise consult or something. I don't want insurance companies to say, hey, that's physical therapy. Now coronavirus is gone. Why can't we still be doing this?
Well, is it currently covered by insurance, teletherapy?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it is, but I'm not 100% sure.
We can look into that and get back to people. I would almost be stuck that I do as a physical therapist. I don't know if I want that to be covered because I don't want people doing that if it's not necessary.
Right.
We'll look into that and get back to people. Anyway, comment in, send us your brackets, questions about sports coming up, and physical therapy questions if you're afraid to go see your physical therapist because of limiting access to lots of people. Just send them in to us and we can do our best, the best we can with them.
Sounds good. Over and out.
Over and out.